We came to Enoch looking for hope. A fresh start on an untouched planet. Then, we found the signal. So we set out to discover its source. That was our first encounter with the anomaly. When the storm struck, the Outriders were forced back into cryosleep. 30 years later, when we finally woke, the world had changed. But so had we. The signal is still out there. And at its source, a chance to find answers. To start again.
Hello again, my name is Lucy, and this is the Outriders broadcast, our monthly show in which we delve into the nitty-gritty of our co-op RPG shooter and surface the staggering depth the game has to offer. Last month, in the series debut, we took a look at lore, UI, and world tiers in a show we called Built for the Core. We showed you some brand new areas of the game and also a huge deep dive into the Trickster class in the first of our new Spotlight videos. Today we are focusing a little more on story, the planet of Enoch where the events of the game unfold, and the cast of characters that will join the Outriders in their search for the source of this signal. Story is pretty important in Outriders, and there's a lot of it. In telling the dark and desperate sci-fi story at the heart of the game, there's an hour and a half of performance-captured cutscene, with your Outrider and all of your customization and gear front and center of the action. There's also 2 hours of additional cutscene that fleshes out the side missions and extra story content off the main path. But how does it all fit together? How do you navigate the world and all that it has to offer? Well, let's take a look at that now, shall we, as we jump into the game itself and share with you what's involved moment to moment as you explore and survive Enoch. All right, Sven, over to you.
Outriders is massive, both in terms of game length and the numbers of hours you'll be able to pour into it, and the physical distance you'll traverse over the course of the story. So today we're excited to show you more of the journey and structure of Outriders, how you move about the game and how the various features, systems and story all come together. In last month's broadcast, we explored the first city, the area of Enoch first settled by the refugees of Earth. Everything from this section of the game unfolded here, in this area of the map. The first city sits within a larger area of colonized Enoch, which you can see here. Here, humans have made a life, as best as they can, and built cities, strongholds, factories, and mines as they try to survive. This is where the Outriders are first reawoken from cryosleep, and where your first hours in the game are spent. Humanity has always struggled to leave this place, with the raging anomaly storms and monsters preventing further colonization of the planet, pushing society back to the Dark Ages. As you will see though, there's a whole lot more to Enoch. As an Outrider, you're one of the few powerful enough to leave humanity's broken settlements and journey out across this hostile planet. But what does that mean in actuality? Outriders takes advantage of a hub-and-spoke structure, connecting busy, settled areas, the hubs, with combat arenas and free roam areas, the spokes. The main story missions push you through the game, and a large number of side quests and additional content can be discovered on or off the beaten path. As side quests scale to your level, so do the rewards. It means even early side quests can be meaningful played late in the game. And it's worth saying side quests aren't fluffy objectives that take place in the same play spaces you've experienced in the main game. They're new, bespoke areas of Enoch that you could miss entirely, and they often reveal more secrets about the world and lore. Let's travel quickly to Eagle Peaks, the snow-capped mountains that encase the war zone, to take on a side quest there.
Is this your whole company?
There used to be more of us. Something happens to the men up in these hills. We hear voices. Some leave and don't come back. Same for anyone who goes looking for them. But maybe an altered could have more luck in finding them. Could you lend a hand?
All right, let's play detective. If I was a missing soldier wandering off into the night hearing voices, where would I go?
Come on! Don't do this! I just came looking for my friend!
He belongs here now! We all do! Today, the storm welcomes an apostate into its loving embrace!
So it seems the last remaining survivor of our missing soldiers was just sacrificed to the anomaly? We need to have some words with this deadly cult and its leader.
ECA! Everyone! Target designated! They've got nowhere to run! Another notch in my gun!
We're only giving you a small taste of this little side adventure. It takes a fair bit longer to make our way into the inner chambers here. And as always, we like to keep some surprises for you. But it's time now for an epic showdown with the altered cultist leader.
Firing on target! They've got nowhere to run! It's out!
Seems you had yourself a little cult brewing up here. I don't know, this place seems to make people flip their fucking lids.
Yeah, nice. By completing the side quest, we can now choose a sweet piece of new gear as a reward. With that sorted, let's talk a little bit more about hubs. In hubs, your weapons are holstered for a time, and you can soak in a bit of life on Enoch. Here you can visit vendors to sell scrap and purchase gear, frequent bars to gather gossip and bounties,
Call it the liver spinner.
and pick up side quests from one of Enoch's many eccentric denizens.
What exactly is your business?
Certain mercenary services?
It's hard to show this without spoilers, but as you progress through the game, the world state and NPC dialogue is affected by pivotal moments from the story, and new side quests unlock, some of which are hidden in earlier hubs and play spaces, further rewarding exploration. Combat feats also come with achievements. Complete a collector's quest like Bounty or Monster Hunt, and NPCs will recognize and reward your triumphs. In bringing to life a new sci-fi universe, we are adamant that these settled areas feel dynamic and alive. Oh, and if Monster Hunts piqued your interest, stay tuned for a future broadcast to learn more about them.
Well, this should be interesting.
Crucially, hubs also allow you to check in on your Outriders truck and crew, which will grow as you progress throughout the game. We're going to talk more about the Outriders truck in the future, but its primary function is to transport you through the world, bringing many of the features of a town with it. All the functionality you'd expect from a hub hits the road with you. The weapon vendor, your crafting, your crew. The truck is a moving RPG village. Now you don't operate the truck yourself. That job falls to your driver, Jakob, who we will talk more about later. But the customization options are vast, so you can personalize your ride along your journey. Okay, let's pack up and hit the road now. I need to head to the forest to continue my journey. Let's take a quick moment to introduce the crew. Your ride or dies accompany you on your quest to discover the source of the signal. Here we can see Jakob, who drives the truck and can handle any customization of the vehicle. Jakob was with your Outrider during the first arrival on Enoch, 30 years prior. A bright-eyed youth with an exciting life ahead of him on a new planet. Time has not been kind to poor Jakob. Here's Zahidi, who we met in the last broadcast. One of the few people on Enoch with a grasp on science and how to get mankind out of the pickle they happen to find themselves in. You can talk to Zahidi for weapon mods and crafting. We'll be talking more about this topic in the next broadcast. Finally, at least for the moment, there's Bailey, who's been appointed to your team by Corrigan, the Grand Marshal of Trenchtown, who's allowed you travel through the various sectors of the settlement.
Let's go.
Bailey hates the arrangement as much as you do, but is forced to join the journey. In camps like this, Bailey also acts as a gear vendor, with a host of unique weapons and armor you can trade for scrap. Other notable features of a given camp? Your stash, where you can store and withdraw equipment that you might not be able to hold on your person. The stash also allows you to move gear freely between your roster of player-built characters. Next to the hammock here, you'll always be able to change and customize the look of your Outrider. And of course the matchmaking terminal, which is hopefully self-explanatory. Before I'm leaving you for this month's broadcast, I'm going to take you beyond the safe confines of the Forest Enclave. It's a beautiful night, so let's head out there and explore.
Hey, you remember my tunes I used to play?
Like it was yesterday.
I can still remember some of them.
Please stop, Jakob. Please. I'm serious. Yeah, Jakob, I'm disconnecting.
So that's your look at the journey and structure of Outriders. Back to you, Lucy.
Thank you, Sven. Hopefully that gives you a much better idea of the size and shape of Outriders and how your experience with the game actually plays out. Alright, let's shift gears a bit here then for another broadcast exclusive reveal. Bringing the world of Enoch to life is achieved through more than just graphics and story. A big part of the atmosphere you'll soak in whilst exploring and surviving the hostile planet is achieved through music. We are very excited to reveal that the Outriders original soundtrack has been composed and arranged by none other than Inon Zur, a formidable name in the world of game music with some huge titles and epic scores under his belt. In bringing the score to life, Enon joined a full orchestra in Budapest last year to lay down the tracks for the game, and we were there to chat to him.
We came here today to TomTom Studios at the beautiful city of Budapest to record the Symphony of Budapest for the project The Outriders, which is a whole new game and a whole new franchise. This is a very unique experience for me, I must say. With my knowledge in the orchestra, the way we basically crafted it, combining the orchestral sound with the electronic sound and sometimes with a lot of ethnic sound, these three elements together is creating this, I would say, soundscape specifically for this game, and we were able together create something that is very unique.
Got it. Inon is one of the best composers working in the game industry. He's a very, very busy man. Everyone wants to work with him, so it was a pleasure and honor for us even that he decided to work with our company.
I'm very intrigued by stories, and this game in particular has a very interesting story. And actually the story is what drove the music to wherever it is. This orchestra is just, I would say, world class. Now there are a whole group of people that are telling your story again, and they're adding their own voice, and it just makes the job such a pleasure. A game is a whole experience. Music is there to be felt. Music is part of what we're giving the player as an experience that he or she will go and discover.
It's perfect, but even more.
My best hope is that the music will serve as, the fourth dimension, the emotional dimension. We want the player to really be engaged in the game, feeling the music, and not really noticing it. It's there, it's supporting. That's, I think, is the secret for a good score. Outriders was, in many, many ways, an extremely unique experience for me. I am so happy that I was able to work together with People Can Fly on this amazing project. We took enough time to develop our own idea of music, and I really like this kind of collaboration. And together we created a signature that I really cannot wait the player to find out and to enjoy.
Next up, we're continuing our Spotlight series as we take a very detailed look at various different aspects of the game. Today, it is the second of the game's 4 classes, the Pyromancer. Let's turn up the heat.
Greetings, Outriders! Welcome to our Spotlight series, a collection of videos that delve deeper into specific aspects of the game. Today, we're taking a look at our next class. Crank up the heat because it's the Pyromancer.
As pyromancers, we manipulate explosive volcanic energy and devastating walls of flames.
Who is this class for? Players who like to take on hordes of enemies at once. Also, pyromaniacs. Nah, just kidding. Don't actually set things on fire. Unless you're in the game, then set everything on fire. Pyromancers tend to fight at mid-range. They don't have the movement abilities needed to get in and out of combat quickly, like their trickster brethren, but many of their abilities are area of effect based, meaning you'll want a decent amount of space to line them up, then light them up. Fundamentals. The Pyromancer has 3 core fundamentals that underlies each of their powers. These are Explosive, Immobilize, and Ignite. The Pyromancer is focused around thermal and fire-based powers and effects, which you can even see in the class's melee attacks. Your standard melee attack will deal fire damage to anyone it hits, while also inflicting extra effects as well. It is so much more than a skill just to use in a raw panic. Healing. Even the best combatants get injured from time to time, so knowing how to utilize your unique Pyromancer skills is essential to surviving. As with all of the classes, there are no quick fixes to retaining health. You need to play aggressively to restore HP. In the Pyromancer's case, they can be healed if an enemy dies while marked by their skills. Any Pyromancer skill that damages an enemy will mark them for a set time. This means that Pyromancers can get maximum healing from affecting the greatest amount of enemies possible, and then also ensuring that those same enemies meet a swift death. Powers. Each class has 8 powers in total, starting with a single power and unlocking more as you level up. Many of the Pyromancer's powers inflict a status effect called Burning. This sets enemies on fire and provides a nice bit of damage over time. However, inflicting Burning also momentarily stuns enemies and can be used as an interrupt. But that's enough general power information. Let's check out 4 of the Pyromancer's abilities now. Power 1. Thermal Bomb. Thermal Bomb will set an enemy ablaze and deal additional damage to them over time. If an enemy dies while under the effects of Thermal Bomb, they'll rise into the air and explode in a gory mess, dealing damage to a large radius. Combine this power with a mob of grouped enemies, and the resulting explosion may well wipe the rest of them out too. You don't have to be the one to land the killing blow either. You can tag an enemy and have a fellow Outrider kill them, which will still trigger the thermal bomb going off. Teamwork. Power 2, Ash Blast. Using this skill will apply the status effect Ash to all enemies in a large radius. Ash prevents affected targets from doing anything at all for a few seconds, immobilizing them in a suffocating cloud of dust. A great crowd control ability, Ash Blast can cause large numbers of enemies to briefly freeze in place. This can be combined really well with other powers to hit a maximum number of enemies. And there are scenarios to use Ash Blast both offensively and defensively. Offensive. Use Ash Blast to prevent enemies from escaping any area of effect abilities you or your teammates might be casting. Alternatively, Ash Blast can help you line enemies up for successful headshots, causing maximum damage. Defensive. Ash Blast can also be used to buy you vital breathing room. Ironic, seeing as your foes will be choking on ash. If you're being overwhelmed, use it to freeze enemies in their tracks and fall back to a more manageable distance. Power 3, Heatwave. This is one of the earliest powers you unlock. As the Pyromancer is a medium-range class, you'll want to maintain a little bit of distance between yourself and enemies, and Heatwave is perfect for this. If enemies, particularly melee attackers, try to rush you, Heatwave will provide you with the space you need to be most effective at scalding them into crispy giblets. Heatwave's secondary effect shouldn't be forgotten either. The burn status effect will deal damage over time to all affected enemies, which may well help give you a nice burst of healing if they feel the burn a little bit too literally. Power 4, Overheat. Overheat may only deal a small amount of damage to enemies within a large radius, but it does deal extra damage to enemies that are currently burning, making it a great follow-up skill. Similarly to Heatwave, Overheat is an excellent way of marking numerous foes and strategically setting yourself up for a big burst of healing. It's one of those skills that just gets on with everyone, you know? It synergizes really well with a number of other powers to double down on damage dealt. The definition of supportive. We all need an Overheat in our life. As we mentioned before, our Pyro Pow will feature a further 4 powers on top of those that we've shown today, but we will talk about these later down the line. Power combos. Using powers by themselves is all well and good, but utilizing them in combinations is where Outriders truly shines. Heatwave's ability to hit several enemies at once with burning means that Overheat can inflict maximum damage. Thermal Bomb, on the other hand, may only inflict burning onto a single enemy at a time, but the status effect still means that Overheat can be triggered to cause extra damage and ensure the Thermal Bomb carrier dies and triggers the explosion. As mentioned, the Pyromancer is ideally a mid-range fighter who likes to keep enemies at arm's length, and this combo will show you how to do just that. While in battle, Heatwave neutralizes enemies that get too close. Following Heatwave up with Ash Blast will ensure that those enemies remain where they are. Then place a Thermal Bomb amongst the mob and focus all fire on that enemy. If you can kill them before the Ash Blast effect wears off, you can wreak havoc with the Thermal Bomb explosion and benefit from a burst of healing at the same time. And bear in mind, these are only simple examples of how powers could be chained. You'll no doubt find your own most effective ways of playing Outriders in your own style. Alter your Pyromancer. Each class has a tree of class point nodes that you can activate to alter the way your build and skills work. Class points are acquired by leveling up. You won't be able to fill out the entire class tree, but you will be able to respec your nodes to change the way you play. The 3 branches for the Pyromancer are Ashbreaker, Firestorm, and Tempest, with each branch providing both major and minor passives that affect your character's type of damage focus and survivability. The Ashbreaker branch will generally provide bonuses when dealing damage against marked enemies, while also providing a boost in anomaly power. The Firestorm branch is a path focused on maximizing the damage output of skills. This path will allow you to increase your anomaly power, your burning damage, and the skill damage you do on marked enemies. The Tempest branch, on the other hand, helps you fill more of a tank role. The path focuses on maximizing your health bonus and reducing the damage you take from certain sources. One of the more unique passive bonuses you can activate on this path is an automatic revival upon death. That's pretty handy. Additionally, the equipment you use may impact the way your skills work. The gear you equip might reduce the cooldown or duration of a skill, or they may alter it on a more fundamental level. But fear not, we will showcase these bad boys in a future video. And with that, the introduction to our Pyromancer is coming to a close. Keep an eye out on our YouTube channel for future gameplay videos and other spotlights coming soon. Subscribe and hit the notification bell for videos that are hot off the press. We hope you got fired up exploring the sizzling skills of the Pyromancer, and we'll see you next time.
We are fast approaching the end of Broadcast 2. Oh, I know, all good things must come to an end. But before we disappear, we're going to continue our new tradition of rounding things off with a bit of a Q&A. So earlier in the month, we put a call out for questions all across our Outriders social media channels. If you're not following us, by the way, you should be. And we gathered your burning questions about the game. And now we're going to answer them. So, Robbie, take it away.
Thanks, Lucy, and thanks to everyone for sending in their questions. Be sure to keep using the hashtag Outriders on social media. Let's jump into some questions from the community this month. Is there PvP? The question of PvP is asked a lot, but right from the earliest concept, Outriders has been designed as a PvE game. We're committed to making the best single player and co-op RPG shooter out there. How long is Outriders? So it really depends how you play the game. You could just do the main campaign by itself on a single class in around 25 to 30 hours, but it will take 2 to 3 times that long if you play all the side quests, post-campaign and additional content in Outriders. Can we have multiple characters or classes for the same account? If so, do we need to repeat the story every time to level them? Is loot bound to a character or class? Or can we mail other things to another class? Everyone will have access to up to 6 character slots, which you can fill with whichever classes you desire. You also have a stash, which can be used to share items between characters. Is there any sort of open world or open world areas, or is it just 100% missions? Although not open world, Outriders features a lot of open areas, and straying from the beaten path and exploring the world of Enoch is a big part of the game. Not only will you be rewarded with gear, opportunities to hunt down special enemies, and challenging combat encounters, but you'll also uncover the mysteries of Enoch. Will we see or find out about beta, endgame, crossplay, and other features before release? All of these are big questions that require big answers, but you will absolutely find out more about all of them before launch. We want to be open, honest, and upfront about our game. We're not just trying to sell you the game on just promises, we're going to show you exactly what you're going to get. So make sure you continue to tune in to future broadcasts as we continue to unveil the depth of Outriders. Thanks again to everyone that sent in their questions. Keep using the hashtag Outriders for the chance to be featured in the Outriders Broadcast 3.
Thank you for that, Robbie. We will be putting a call out for questions for the next broadcast very soon. So make sure you like, subscribe, follow us on all the social media channels, and let us know what you want to know. Because at the end of the day, that is what we're here for. We are here to answer your questions. I say we, I mean just Robbie. And that is it. That is Outriders Broadcast 2 in the bag. We hope you've enjoyed what you've seen here today and leave knowing just that much more about the game. Big thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.
Next time on the Outriders broadcast, we'll be taking a look at what it means to be altered. Reborn with the planet's energy flowing through their veins, Outriders play an important role in the broken, war-torn society of the New World. We'll be taking a look at the Outriders' journey from something human to something much more, as we explore the brutal, legendary gear sets in the game, modding and crafting gear, a detailed look at the Devastator class, and much more. See you then.